So for all of you that are here with us today, I'll send out the recording and send out this PowerPoint. At the end of the PowerPoint, I think it's slide number 12. It has an appendix that's just a couple of links. So there are 2 links to donor advised funds, one for Fidelity and one for Schwab. And then there's a knowledge base from this year from Blackbaud. So you'll see that. I'll just get to the punchline for that help file, and that is Blackbaud doesn't recommend a way to acknowledge donor advised funds. So I'm going to tell you how we do it at Impact. Here's the agenda. I thought I'd just briefly introduce myself. I don't want to talk about myself too long, just let you know who's speaking, so you know who you got in front of you. Explain a little bit about donor advised funds. Please forgive me if for those of you that already know about donor advised funds and have a good idea of what they do, I'm going to approach this as if someone's maybe walking new to advancement or development office and they don't know donor advised funds. Then we'll dive right into Razor's Edge. I got a couple of examples set up in our sample database. I don't think that'll take too long. Our colleague from the West Coast, Charlie, will be monitoring questions and he'll help us. So I don't have to look at 2 or 3 screens at the same time. I won't read everything for you here. You can probably hear a New England accent. I live in Savannah, Georgia. Been here for a little over 40 years. I spent a significant amount of time at Blackbaud, 17 years. I was there twice. In the middle of my first time and my second time, I was a customer twice, once in higher education and once in healthcare philanthropy. I like to speak about Blackbaud and Razor's Edge. Probably the thing I speak about most at different conferences is now in NXT, it's the Work Center, but I talk a lot about prospect portfolios and developing pipelines. You can see my education and my hobbies. Not too interesting, but that's me. Donor advised funds. As I just mentioned, I attended I speak a lot about portfolios and pipelines. I attended a conference. I spoke on that at a 22 state-supported college system in May, and I attended a couple sessions. And one session was from Donor Advancement Services team. It was 2 people from 2 different colleges, and they spoke on recording complex gifts. And there was a wide variety. They probably had 36 slides of different complex gifts. And then they spent a little bit talking about donor advised funds. And I found it a little bit fascinating. I share this now with the customers that I work with at Impact that are recording donor advised funds. And I thought I'd share it with you. So you can see the definition. It allows donors to make a charitable contribution, receive immediate tax benefit, and then recommend grants from the fund over time. And these funds can be community funds, Schwab, charitable, fill in the blank, all these different others. I could probably add a little bit more to the second line. Gifts from a DAF cannot pay directly on a pledge. A donor may not receive benefit from a DAF. So that will speak to the way I'm going to show you how to soft credit the donor and hard credit the organization. And know for those of you that are educational organizations, these can't pay tuition. All right, so step 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. I'm not an expert on step 3. Step 3 is, I suppose, if the donor or husband and wife team create an account and they eventually pass on, they've got to name a successor and beneficiaries. But I think the other ones are self-evident. The donor selects a sponsor like Schwab, makes the irrevocable gift. They get the tax contribution right away. The contribution is placed into the account. It's all set up, and then they notify the organization to hopefully make large contributions to your organization. Let me just stop for a second and check to see if anyone is in the waiting room. Yeah, there. Okay, we're back. Before I move on to the next slide, I want to tell you a little about my consulting. I have a lot of fun with it. So oftentimes I work with nonprofits for maybe a month engagement. Sometimes it's 3 months. And after we get to know each other, I've got this little thing that I think the customer and I enjoy. So I provide the tip of the day. So I call it Bob's tip of the day. And it could be anything from going into business rules and database view. I'm sure a lot of you have been in there. Not many people that I can sense, I think, to know if people know these tips that I'm going to provide. It could be as simple as, when you're in database view, you're on a date field and you hit F7 and it pulls up the calendar, and hit F3 and it pulls today's date. And these are things that have been around for, seems like forever. Since we're going to be looking at soft credits, because I'm going to show you that age-old sample record that all of you have been looking at forever, probably the Hernandez record, Dr. Hernandez. So he's the one who set up this in my database, set up the charitable fund, the DAF. He's going to get a soft credit. So just in case anyone that's participating now, watching and listening, don't know how to set up the view and database view for gifts, so you can make them bold or italicized or color or with suffixes. Bob's tip of the day is how do you set that up in options? So you go to tools. So you're in anywhere, landing anywhere in database view. You go to tools, user options, and then you do this. I think, if I go on the next slide. Yep. So it's here. So you go to tools, user options, and then you get to pick a tab, color, tab, and then you go to legends. After you do it once, you get it. I bet you a lot of you have already done this already. Then you go to the view gift legend. And now we're going to get a palette. So we're still here, view gift legend. Then you're going to scroll down. I guess it's alphabetically, maybe not. So we're scrolling down because this doesn't appear first. Scroll down, use a slider, get down to soft credits, and then pick the soft credit colors. I think it lands on system colors. I like name colors and then just pick a color. Everyone caught up so far? I'm going to send you this deck so you'll have it all. And then I like to put a suffix on that gift. And my choice is to -SC. This is right out of the Blackbaud playbook. And then when you're in database view, and as long as you're not on that gift, you're on another gift, you'll see it's not black. It's, in my case, it's going to be blue, bolded, I think, maybe not bolded, blue, and don't have a suffix. Okay, so let's take a look at Razor's Edge. In my experience, people that work with Razor's Edge for a long time, even before after NXT was released, probably the people that are joining here that use Razor's Edge a lot are still in database view. The people that I find are new to Razor's Edge and they don't spend a lot of time in database view. They spend it in NXT. I hope you forgive me, but all they're going to look at today is just going to be in database view. I think it's easier to navigate around and look at soft credits. I think I'm going to hopefully do the right thing. And I've got to share my screen with you. And back up again. Here's database view. So let's suppose that Fidelity is one of your organizations that manages accounts, or one account at least, for one of your donors. And on Monday, the 8th, they made a gift. There was a check that came in for $10,000. So the gift came in from charitable. There was a stub on the bottom or some sort of note that you get out of the envelope that indicates this is for Hernandez and whatever the fund it was. And for those of you that know that Razor's Edge, please don't follow what Bob's doing here. So you notice I didn't make, in my database, there's no required field for campaign and appeal, but know that everyone, you should make those required for all of your gifts so you can report on them. I probably turn those off just to make it quicker. So here it is. It's on Fidelity's record. A gift of $10,000 on Monday. I got a check number. I recorded the check date and the check number. It was a business check. And then when I recorded this, I knew it was for Hernandez. So I went to the soft credit tab, looked up Robert Hernandez, and gave him full credit. By default, you've never entered a soft credit before. It will default to the full amount. I can't think of examples where you wouldn't use a full amount or full percentage. So it's got the full amount. All right, so that's a cash gift. That's the hard credit on the charitable organization. Now, when we go to Hernandez's record, He's got many. You've looked at demos before in a sandbox. You've probably seen this record's been around for 20 years. So he's got a lot of gifts. We're just going to look at that top gift for Monday for the 8th. And you can't see right now because I'm highlighting the first row, but watch when I go down, I unhighlight that to select another row. You can see now it's in blue and there's a soft credit there. So it's a visual for you. So I chose, when I went to that legend and that color palette, I just chose to do this for soft credits. You can do it for any other type of gift. So when you're here in database view, you get the visual of that's not hard credit, that's a soft credit. So he's going to get soft credited for that gift. I hope it's okay with everyone that I'm not going to do acknowledgement letters, but you know how this would go. You chat later, email, or sometime you think it's worthwhile if you want MPAC to come back with another webinar just on acknowledgement letters and mail merges and single merges and conditional merges, let us know. We'd be happy to do that. So what happens now is Hernandez, he just gets a letter. That's what we say. You know, Blackbaud's not committing to what you do. We say he gets a letter, but it's not a receipt. In fact, this is wrong here. This should be 0, right? So he's not getting any receipt for any money. And then the thank you letter goes to Fidelity. What I thought about showing you is probably another couple steps. Forgive me if you all know this already, but perhaps there's quite a few attending that don't know this. I want to show you some reports you'd want to run. We're still in database view. Can't think of where you might find these in NXT. I know NXT pretty well. I don't think they exist. I'm going to go to reports in database view. Then we'll go to financial. So navigating from home, go to reports, 4th one down, financial. These are my go-to. We see these a lot. And so I want to share with you 2 different reports. Many of you probably run this gift detail and summary. So I created a gifts this week. So this is a detail report. So we're just going to filter on this week. And for any gifts that come in this week, it'll appear. We're only going to have one. We're just going to have this financial and Hernandez. And what I'm choosing to do is I want to show this credit for both people. Not the donor, not this, just the soft credit, not just Hernandez. I want to show it for both. And it'll be in detail. So watch, if you haven't seen this yet, watch what happens in the right-hand column when we get to Michael's record. I'm sorry, Robert's record, Robert Hernandez. So it'll show both of these gifts. 10,000 a piece, totals for 20. But notice there's a pound symbol here, and that the legend here lets you know that it's a soft credit. So it may not be accurate. This is probably not something you want to give to finance. So this is just for credit purposes, or I'm sorry, for recognition purposes, right? So that was gift detail and summary. It was a gift detail report I ran. You can or cannot decide what
Bobby,
you want to do.
Bobby, I have a question from Cheryl Perry about donor recognition.
Sure.
She asks, how do you set up a donor recognition so that Fidelity is not on the donor wall, but Hernandez is?
Oh, right. So I don't know in detail what this question might be, but is the donor recognition by different category? I suppose it could be both. So maybe it's just an annual. So it's the donor recognition wall just for this year. We're still going to pull in Robert Hernandez because he made the soft credit, and we'll include soft credits, and not the donor. And if it happens, if I don't know the detail for the question, if the question is putting people into different categories by amount. So on recognition walls that I've seen, you've got the 1 to 99 for friends, and you get the next category for up to 500 or 1,000. So this $10,000 gift will surely make Hernandez into a larger category. And so because when you run these reports or donor category report, the soft credit will count toward that category.
Cheryl is saying correct, but Fidelity should not get any credit for the gift.
Yes. Yeah, so can you filter out all of the charitable, all the DAFs out of a report? Would
That's
there
what she
be,
wants you to do.
Mhm. So I'm hoping that all the DAFs are, have a constituent code as DAF. So under the filters, where you see, constituent codes.
Oh,
Yeah, so I would say selected like this. And then move everything over. Everything over except for your DAF. I know I have that in here. It's at the bottom here. Will that work? So now your DAFs won't be included. Let's test it. Looks good.
Hmm.
What do you think, Cheryl?
She says yes, that should
Right.
work.
All right. All right. Impact on the go. So sometimes we do a lot of assessments, our team, and so part of that the assessment when someone we're invited to come in to help improve on processes, and then we'll ask if we can take a look around, get invited to the database and look around to check on standard things like funds, campaigns, and appeals, constituent codes. But I like to go in, it's particularly if organizations have been using Razor's Edge for a while, I'll go into these standard reports to see that there's going to be evidence. If there's, we all know if you go to query, there's a whole bunch of queries because for the past 10 years and everyone that's been there before you have these saved queries. But when I go into these standard reports, particularly gift detail and summary report, I don't see a lot of saved reports here. In a lot of cases, I don't see it, not for everyone. And that's evidence that people aren't using this. That's, I think it's a very good report to run. So that's why I'm taking time to go over this with you. For those of you that aren't using gift detail and summary, that's one option for you to look at, daily or weekly gifts. Before I leave this, there's a tab. I just want, because I'm going to take you to another report. There's a tab here for columns to use. So you can either select more columns. So you've got a choice over here, columns to use, and then take columns off. Say you can move these fields over. You just have to watch the column width here because things are going to get crowded. So just compare this. If you look at this for a moment. So here we are on what I'm recommending is useful for DAFs plus other activity. Gift detail report. Now I'm going to go to still in financial reports alphabetically up to cash receipts journal. This is a report that I might suggest that you use weekly or daily for finance. And the reason I'm choosing this, same thing. Let's choose the gifts for this week. I didn't choose for both because I'm sending this over to finance, and I don't want them to ask the question why do you have two gifts for the same two people crediting for the same gift. So this goes over to Fidelity, so that over to finance, and they're going to get one to many. Maybe we've got 20 or 50 gifts for the week, and it's probably the fields that they need. What fund is this going to? Is it restricted perhaps? Is it going to tuition? Is it going to something else? What's the check number, check date? What's the payment type? And that they'll be able to balance that. Maybe maybe you're not doing this weekly, you're doing it daily. So your daily cash receipts journal matches the deposits for finance. It's 22 minutes after the hour. That's all I thought I would want to show to you. And I'll just open it up some more for Charlie for help with questions. Well, I think you've got my email address. As I said at the top of the meeting, this is being recorded. I'll send the recording if you like and send out the deck. And you've got our contact information. Follow us on, if you follow impact.com and go to events, colleagues of mine also have monthly webinars on different topics. So sign up for those if you like. All the registration is free. Thank you for your time today. You think that's all, Charlie? Any more questions?
Nope, I think that's all good.
Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you for your time today.